And welcome, my name is Matt Finnegan and you're watching another Soccer Insight preview brought to you by betting-insight.com, and this is the Super Sunday game that we're looking at, Southampton at home against West Ham. Now if you look at the form, they've got an identical form there, and basically they're both coming into this game on the back of losses, but to me 2.1 is the index price on Southampton. You will see as we go through this preview that many of the firms are ducking underneath that. West Ham we rate at 3.6 and the draw is 3.6 as well. Just look at the class rating. Southampton is rated 3, West Ham we've given 2, and that is really largely down within the sort of the Sam Allardyce factor in there. They performed extremely well last season, they're likely to build on it this season, and the question is, would a Sam Allardyce team go down? It's very unlikely. He's got a very, very proven track record of keeping teams in the Premier League, and that's why it's just crept into that sort of Class 2 rating of a team. They had a very, very good season last year, as did Southampton, both with their first season in the Premier League, back in the Premier League from the Championship. Now I've just looked at the last 2 seasons head-to-head, and it's largely mainly due to Sam Allardyce's record away at St Mary's, and basically he's yet to win. So that might be reflected in the bookmakers' price. Not taking any chances with Southampton this weekend. So 1 victory and 1 draw in those 2 matches. And we'll move on to the Pointless Award, okay? And that once again this weekend goes to 118bet. Over round at 9.45%, and that means it is very, very poor value. And just look at the price on Southampton. They're almost a 4 to 5 shot, 1.82. Would you be backing Saints at home at that ridiculously low price? No, but it doesn't get better in the other sort of margins as well within the prices. It just keeps ramping up that overround. West Ham, yes, they are value against our OP index at 3.9, and the draw is very, very skinny at 3.35. Very, very sort of skinny sort of price there. So if you've got an account with 118bet, I certainly suggest that you don't be parting with any money on the Premier League games this weekend. Certainly if you feel teams are going to win, draw or lose, because they're just not offering any sort of value. The overround is too big. They need to squeeze that down and get more in line with the rest of the firms and that. Modest margins, well, BetVictor, they're claiming their adverts, like I say in other previews, and they are offering a great overround, 3.65. Largely made up. West Ham 4.6, that's great value on that. So if you do fancy West Ham to win the game, with BetVictor you're getting good value there. 1.87 on Southampton, just ducking underneath that a little bit. Draw competitively at 5 to 2, but modest margins 3.65. That's going to get very, very close to the best prices combining all the bookmakers together. So very, very low margin. Anything under 4%, then the bookmakers are going to be offering some value in there, and at least one of the teams. So just bear that in mind. I think if they're below sort of 5%, you're going to find a bit of value in that. So do use the overround in your assessment. We'll just have a quick look at the exchange prices here, and basically West Ham 4 to 1 on the exchanges. That is huge against our 3.6. Southampton pretty much on the prices of the best bookmakers at 187. The draw is a little bit higher as well, so there's value in West Ham or the draw. And basically what that means is if you fancy West Ham to get a result, then actually sort of lay in Southampton, you're getting odds against that they're not going to win the game, and that is a great opportunity if you feel that is actually sort of going to happen. So just bear that in mind with your thought processes there. Now moving on to sort of the thoughts that you may have, if Southampton win or result. To me, they're too short to back in the match odds, so consider it elimination. Ramp up the price if you think they will win the match. Okay, what I mean by that? Look at the sort of the Dutch in the winning margin, eliminating some of the goals that they may win by, okay, to sort of ramp up that price. William Hill, they offer 6 to 5, 2.2 for them to win the race to 2 goals. Again, that's taking it above the OP index and that, and I feel there may be goals in this game. So, if Southampton are to win it, they could need 2 goals to actually go on and to win it, okay. But possibly the best option is Dutching them to win by 1 or 2 goals. That pays 2.32 at best prices. I can't see them beating West Ham if they are going to win this game by more than 2 goals, by 3 or more goals, and that's what would need to happen for you not to win that bet. And alternatively, if you're feeling braver, you could take the 3-1 4.0 with Corals that they win not to nil, and that is an option. So this is your thought process, is going into the game of if you think Southampton will win or get a result. At the end of the day, is the match odds are very, very short and they're offering no value. So you've got to be creative in this game if you think Southampton will win it. And that 3-1 4.0, that the win but the concede as well, may be an option that you may want to sort of consider. It's a brave choice, but nonetheless I feel it's a good choice. West Ham, win or result, well, the best option is to take the 11 to 10 2.1 Southampton not winning by laying them on the Betfair around that 1.9. Okay, I think 187 that we've seen already in this video preview. So that is giving you odds against it not winning. So if you think West Ham will come away with a result and whatever your thought process based around that is, you're going to get value with West Ham in lots and lots of markets and that. So do go through more markets than obviously I can cover in the few minutes that I talk through here, but basically you're getting great value on West Ham. And measured against our OP index, you're certainly getting good value, and any market's priced over 3.6 is worth considering. Okay, so 5.0 on Betfair is definitely worth considering. Okay, definitely worth considering. 5.0 on Betfair is great value if you strongly feel West Ham will win the game. And finally, another alternative is consider backing them 0.75 on the Asian handicaps at any price above 4 to 5, 1.8, as this will take a 2 goal loss to lose all your stakes. Okay, they lose by 1, then you lose half your stake and half is returned, but obviously that gives you the draw and the other one in there. So it's slightly less, okay, than laying them on the exchanges, but you get half your stake back if they go and lose by 1 goal. Okay, so that is slightly sort of skinnier there, but not that much more. But that could be a good option as well in sort of taking that route. Moving on, let's have a closer look at these winning margins, and I'll just talk you through the options there, because these, as I say, they can be a very, very good option of playing in the market. Now you can see Southampton Dutch in 1, 2 and 3 1.92 at the best bookmakers prices is better than the price you're going to get on the exchanges and with the bookmakers in general. So that is an option if you think Southampton are going to win and they're not going to beat West Ham by 4 goals. Okay, so you could put that in and you get in a little bit of value, but it's still under our tissue. It's still under the 2.1, and that's where we sort of see the benchmark in that game. And I feel, as I just said, through the sort of options of win or result, is Dutch in 1 or 2 goals at almost 11 to 8 at 2.32 could be the best option if you think Southampton will win the game. And like I say, 3.8 if you think they're going to win by 1 goal, and that's saying they're going to win the game but they ain't going to win by sort of 2 goals. Now West Ham, you're going to get better on the exchanges than sort of Dutch in 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3. You can't see Southampton losing that, but 4.3, 3.9. So these margins, winning margins are always good, because that will help you sort of look around and see where value may sort of lie. And certainly at 5.0, 4 to 1, West Ham winning the game, you certainly wouldn't be playing in the winning margins on those particular sort of games and that. So that's the winning margins. We'll just have a look through the overs and unders here, and the over 2.5 goals is pretty much on our OP index at even money. It's bang on there. And my sort of feelings is, if you want to get involved in the overs, is just wait 2 or 3 minutes, see how the game started, see if it's a breakneck speed. It's certainly not going to go lower in price. It will move out a little bit. So if you want the overs, it's bang on the money and where we assess it. But there's value in over 1.5 goals. Yes, the price is short, but there is a little bit of value there, and there's certainly good value at 3.9 in over 3.5 goals. Personally, I can't see there being sort of 4 goals in the game. Could always be proved wrong by sort of 6 o'clock on Sunday, but the value is on the overs there. But 2.5 goals is bang on the money there, and that's what you should certainly sort of consider. But you've got the in-play option of watching that for 2 or 3 minutes and then deciding. Just see how the teams are made up, see what the tempo is before making your call. The market is moving in your direction to make that call, and there's not many games that get that early goal. Of course, that's going to be the famous last words this week. Cue an early goal in the first minute or something like that. If that does happen, then it's going to take roughly to around about half time for the prices to get around about 2.0 again. So just bear that in mind there. Finally, on to the in-play stats, the OP in-play stats here. Matches 0-0 at 25 minutes. There's a 51.67 chance of a goal before half time. So in that final 20 minutes, you roughly got to be around about that even money. So laying 0-0 in the half time market around that even money. If you can be laying that at odds on, then you're going to, you're getting a better price than the actual sort of percentage chance of that actually happening. Now, if we widen the sort of the range in another 25 minutes, it's a 76.67 chance of a goal being scored between 25 and 70 minutes. And if that happens, there's an 81.5% chance of another goal will be scored. So, if a goal happens within that time, and that, there might be a goal in the first 25 minutes, that's what the chances are as a goal. It could really open up the game, and if that happens, it's a 4 in 5 chance that there will be another goal to be scored in the match. But slightly lower than the other games that we've previewed this week, a 55% chance of the last goal of the match coming after 65 minutes, 1.82 or above. I don't think the exchange prices will be at that sort of price around 65 minutes. It's certainly going to be shorter than that. Okay, so that's just one thing to sort of bear in mind, is that the 65 minutes, they're not going to be 1.82. The only chance that it will be around there if it's 0-0 and it's a very, very boring game with no sort of chances. But if goals have been flown, if it's 1-1 or 2-1, over 3.5 goals at 2-1 is not going to be 1.82. It's most likely going to be around about 1.60, 1.65 at that particular sort of time. So just bear that in mind. Just some in-play stats for you there. Well, that's it from me. I hope you found this preview informative, and I look forward to talking to you in another preview very, very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.